Hey guys, today we're going to be testing some monitors. I have this guy right here. It's a 2007 FP, and I'm going to be comparing it against the monitor that I'm currently using, which is a 16:9, much newer monitor. It's an S2716DG. It's one of those G-Sync 144 hertz, although it doesn't run at that, of course, when MiSTer's being run through it. It's a 1440p monitor. This is a 4x3 monitor. The reason I got it is because I've been looking into getting a 4x3 LCD, just because I wanted to have a 4x3 LCD and I wanted the best one possible for gaming. Now 4x3 LCDs, of course, haven't been made for a long time now, so the technology that has developed in the recent years isn't really applied to these old 4x3 LCDs. So this is kind of like the best you can get. It's made around 2006. Some of them may have been made in 2007, so it's pretty old. But yeah, we're gonna check it out and see if it's playable. I hope so, because I spent about $100 on this one to get it shipped. So let's take a look here. I've already pre-cut the box, but I haven't looked inside yet. This one is supposed to be a grade A. So hopefully we have no bad pixels or, heavy scratches or anything. It's broken down pretty well. Got it from eBay. The thing about the 2007 FP, there's actually a 2007 FP and a 2007 FPB. The FPB is supposed to be the business one, and the business one, apparently all the FPBs are IPS panels, which I thought was kind of crazy for being that old. What's that? 15 years old, something like that. So, but yeah, it's a 1600 by 1200 resolution, which is great because 240p can be scaled 5x right to 1200. So hopefully that will make the picture look better, no stuttering and things like that. But yeah, this one looks pretty good. And anyway, like I was saying, the 2007 FP comes in two varieties depending on the serial number. There's ones that end in L. Those are LG panels. And those are the desirable ones, apparently, because those are IPS. I already know, because I've been told. I had the guy look. This one ends in S. See the serial there. It's an old serial. I don't mind if you see it. And so it's a recent revision, but it ends in S, which means it's a Samsung panel, which means it's a VA. You can see, wait, what does it say? This is an FPB? So how is it? I'm confused. I have read that the 2007 FP could be either a Samsung or LG, but the FPB is always LG. Or, you know what? What I really read was that the FPB was always IPS. But I don't know, I'm confused now. How can this be an FPB, which is a business? And it wasn't sold on FPB. I wanted an FPB, but I didn't realize it until after I purchased it. And honestly, the seller was really cool. He was like, hey man, because I messaged him, I'm like, hey, I want an IPS panel, can you check? He's like, I only have them with S's, and he's like, do you still want it? I can cancel. I'm like, no, that's cool, man, send it, because it's supposed to be really in condition. So, wow, this, maybe the really late revisions of the FPB, because this is a revision A05, maybe maybe you can get a VA version. The VA is not all bad, right? Because they tend to be a little faster than IPS. You just get a little worse colors. But anyway, one of the other nice things about this 2007 line is it's got, look at all these inputs. It's got VGA, it's got DVI, it's got composite video, and it's got S-video. Plus it's got USB, for USB hub or whatever. That's a lot of ports. When was this made? Rebel 5 seems to be, that's a really new, when was this made? Let's see. No, this is an FPB. June 2007, that's pretty late. Most of the ones I've seen online were 2006 when they showed the back of it. So yeah, it's possible that the FPBs also started getting Samsungs late in the game. Maybe they just broke a deal, they had a deal with LG for the IPS panels and they said, screw it, let's switch to Samsungs. But anyway, we'll give it a shot. There are speakers that you can attach to the bottom, which I thought was kind of a neat thing. I actually bought, this is a new, I'll explain that in a second. This is a new unboxed speaker that attaches directly to the bottom of that. So I thought that was pretty cool and convenient. And this is what it's actually gonna look like. This is something I got at Goodwill for 15 bucks. I paid 16 bucks for that speaker. This whole monitor I think was $13. This is not a valuable monitor for gaming. What is it? 1908 FPB. So it's 1 inch smaller, 19 versus 20. And I think this is a 1024 panel, and it's kind of beat up. I honestly just got it for the speaker and the stand because I was considering buying just the monitor without the stand because those are cheaper, and just taking that stand, but it was like 13 bucks, so I picked it up. But in any case, I'm gonna go ahead and test this. This is a 1024 monitor. This is a 1200 lines of resolution monitor vertically, so we'll see, you know, if that makes a difference with stuttering or anything like that. But yeah, I'm primarily concerned with response times. I've already timed the new one, the S2716DG. Basically what I'm doing is I'm running them analog and digital output at the same time to my PVM and to the monitors. And then I run track and field, and it goes down to hundredths of a second if you do the 100-meter dash. And just take pictures and see how far apart the timer is. You'll see. But so far I'm kind of, the LCDs are pretty slow, so I'm kind of scared that these are going to be really slow. But anyway, let's move on to testing. All right, so before we get to the testing, actually, I wanted to put it together and show you the monitor itself. It looks pretty good. The monitor itself looks good. The panel, I haven't started it up yet, so hopefully all the pixels are good and all that. But aesthetically, it's pretty good. Not really any major scuffs or anything. Just a little here and there, but you know, these are old ass monitors, right? So we expect some use. Plus, there were business probably used, and you know, it's quite a bit of scuffs on the back. Not honestly, I would expect it a little bit better. There's some wear there. There's like a ding there. It's a pretty good chunk. Looks like somebody used a tool to remove something. I wouldn't consider this grade A myself, unless I get, you know, maybe they were just talking purely about the picture. And you know what? I can forgive that. If we have a chunk in the back that nobody sees and some scuffs, whatever, if the picture is perfect, then I'm okay with that. But anyway, that's the monitor itself. I had bought this one, if you recall, because I wanted the speaker and the stand. The speaker is fine. It's the exact same speaker as this one. I haven't taken it out yet, but I know because the models match. But looks like the stands are completely different. In fact, the stand itself has the models that it supports. If I take off the panel, you would have seen it, but it's not that important. But you can tell they're not exactly the same. This one's taller, thicker, so it might fit because of the base amounts are the same. So they're probably interchangeable, but this one might be too heavy for this and it might sag or whatever. But you know, whatever. Like I said, I spent like 13 bucks and I just really wanted the speaker, well, and the stand, but whatever, I can make do. I'll probably redonate this one back to Goodwill. I just take the speaker off of there as a backup. Anyway, so yeah, those are the monitors. And now let's go do some testing. So of course I forgot about 240p test suite. As I was talking about earlier, I was planning to use track and field, the arcade version, and use the 100-meter dash timer and look at the timer, or actually just take a photo of the timer while it was running on both monitors and just see what the difference was. But why do that when 240p test suite has its own DisplayLag timer, and it actually counts them out in frames. So when I take the photos, I'll see actually how many frames difference there are between the two. That's already done for me. So yeah, I'm just going to do that. I actually found that because I was looking for the video mode settings to get this to work at all. That's the 2007 FP or FPB. You know what? Let me show you real quick. It's weird because in the back, you know, I showed you how it said FPB, but if we go to the display settings and do a display info, it says 2007 FP. So I don't know, maybe these really are interchangeable. I had read that the FPBs were always going to be IPS, but I'm 99% sure this one is a Samsung VA panel because it has an S at the end. And you know, I think what happened is just the later versions of these monitors, the FP and the FPB, all switched to Samsung at some point. So, but anyway, it looks really good. I checked out the different colors. The colors are actually really close. It's hard to capture the CRT. I'm just using my iPhone. This is an iPhone 13 Pro Max, so it's like one of the best cameras you can get on a phone, but it's still a phone camera. And these colors that you're looking at here in the video, I'm looking at them with my naked eye and they look pretty different, but at least they look similar here. You can see, you know, comparatively speaking, they're pretty close to each other. And again, CRT kind of goes nuts when you try to capture with just a regular old iPhone camera. You can set the refresh rates and all that stuff, but anyway, you can kind of get an idea once the squiggles pass by that the colors are actually pretty close. I had to, this actually looks a lot darker than it does in real life, but I had to, speaking of dark, I had to raise the brightness on this to all the way to the highest 100 level because it defaulted to the 50 and it was way too dark for me. I think these are pretty close to the CRT color, so that's all white. And again, no dead pixels, no stuck pixels and anything, so that's pretty good. But yeah, I'm going to be using the DisplayLag test, and what I'm going to do is you're going to see from here for a little while, you're going to see a series of photos, and it's I'm going to swap out the monitors. I'm starting with this one. I had started with the other, the 27-inch 144 hertz monitor, the new one, but I didn't discover this. Oh, the settings. There's a VSync. What is it called? I had to look at my monitor. It's a VSync adjust. There's VSync_adjust. It's defaulted to 0 in MiSTer.ini. If you change it to a 2, it actually uses a single frame buffer for video, and it speeds it up quite a bit, or reduces display lag is what it does. So by reducing display lag, you kind of give up VSync, I guess. Like it doesn't really sync because it varies. I think that's a negative. Don't quote me on that. I'm not really deep into the video stuff. I just wanted to make it fast as possible, and I tested it with VSync adjust set to 0, which is the default, and VSync adjust set to 2, and it did improve it about 1.5 frames. So it was pretty significant because you'll see what the difference is between two. So again, these are relative difference right between these two. We're going to use the PVM as the baseline, and we're going to see how much slower each of the LCD panels is in comparison to that. So yeah, I'll be doing the DisplayLag test for that. And again, you're going to be watching or looking at some photos here going forward for a little bit, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about it. Or at least I will. There you go. Okay, so it's a totally different day now, but we need to do a quick summary of the results. I tested all three, as you saw, and the 2007 FP/FPB. And by the way, the product, I looked it up. Dell says the product is 2007 FP, and the model is 2007 FP or FPB. So they're both the same product, different models. In any case, they're either going to be IPS or VA. And either one of those is going to be slower than the two other panels because both the other panels are TN panels. The 1908 is a TN panel, and the S2716DG is a TN panel, just a newer one. So yeah, they're going to be faster. And in fact, the 1908 FPB has a gaming mode, which I couldn't seem to find in this 2007. This is the 2007 FPB. Doesn't have a gaming mode. But in any case, even if it did, it's a 16 millisecond response time. Again, that's not the display lag. It's not the input lag. It's just the kind of the response time for the pixels. So with a higher like this is 16. The 1908 I think had a 5 millisecond response time, and the 27 inch has a 1 millisecond response time, and that's how fast the pixels change color, not how fast they react to your button presses. That's the display lag. What that means for you as an end user is ghosting. The higher the response time, the worse ghosting you're gonna get. This is 16 millisecond. So there's that. As far as display lag, they're about a frame maybe difference. So if you want to use the 2007, you're gonna pay the price from a half frame to a full frame, and then that over the PVM 1908 over this is probably a half frame to maybe a frame. So yeah, the 1908 is actually faster. And I don't know, I'm thinking if I'm gonna primarily be using these 4x3 monitors for tape mode, for probably shooting games, then it may make sense just to give up that 1 inch and just go with the TN panel in 1908, because it is faster. So the colors aren't as good and it's quite noticeable. So I don't know what's more noticeable, the poor coloring or the 1 frame of higher lag, the input lag. So I'll probably have to mess around with that. For right now, I'm gonna stick with the 2007 FPB. And if it becomes like just too much where I'm like, man, I totally hate this 1 extra frame, then I might try the 1908 for a while. But the 27 inch is just a little bit too big, and I don't like the black bars. So I don't think it's worthwhile for me to go with that one. But anyway, hope you learned something from this. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and I'll be happy to respond. As always, thanks for watching, and I should have another video here shortly. Till then.